Thanks for tuning in to another starting lineup report for this 4th of July weekend, July 5th, 2025. I'm Greg DePalma. Thanks for tuning in as we take a look at the Chicago street race and see if anybody can stop the SVG momentum from a big win in Mexico. SVG started the week at 2-1. Don't forget, last year in this race, he was even money on race day. Got into an accident, didn't win the race. And that's why it is very, very hard, as we've said many times over, to expect even the best of drivers on the best of their courses to come through when so many different variables can come into play. Now, we don't know if there'll be a thunderstorm tomorrow, so that's something to keep in mind. Today, no rain. So we did get a sunny day, even though they're saying that the big surprise that the street racing is now they're dealing with a little bit more bumpy roads. And I guess that's going to happen. Who knows if they're going to return, whatever. But we're going to try to see if we can do our best to give you some options other than SVG, who was the easiest way to go. Now, again, do you want to go with SVG, who was close to even entering the day? I know on one sports book he was at plus 150 between the 2-1 and even. And considering he's on the pole again, actually, we're looking at let's pop up the poll numbers first. Big surprise that I think he will be. I think he's going to end up as an even money favorite again. It'll be too difficult for a lot of people who wager, maybe even people who wager on F1 as well, because they know what it's like to wager on drivers that are plus 100, plus 150, minus 150. That's a regular thing for them. They can handle it a little bit better than I can. I will tell you what I have done, though. And this is a really good way of doing this. I mentioned this months before, and I mentioned this a couple times a year. And that is that if you want to take advantage of odds on something you like that are really short, like SVG, okay, do something like I did. This is just an option. And that is you can say, okay, I'm going to take SVG to win. I'm going to parlay him with two other things I like. Okay, so for me, there's a PGA Tour event happening this weekend. And then in 2 weeks, there's a big event happening in the Open Championship. So I zeroed in on a player that I think has a good chance of winning in a couple of weeks, Tommy Fleetwood, over Open Championship. He's 20-1. So I said, all right, instead of me having to put up big money on Tommy, like say $50 to make $1,000 or more, let me see if, since I'm going to put big money on Tommy, let me see if I can get away with putting short money with SVG and Tommy, but then I got to add someone else in there, and that would be the golfer. So what I did was I did 3 players, and they're all in contention for tomorrow. I even think 2 of them are tied for the lead going into tomorrow. So if that goes the way I'm hoping, and they were like ranging from 7-1 odds to like, I don't know, 10-1 odds, something like that. And for a simple couple of dollars each, $1 or $2, I was able to turn a 7 to 10-1 golfer, 3 of them, because that's how I needed to have multiple options there, because SVG is the one that we're going to say, hey, that's the one that we know can win, and I can't make a lot of money. I don't want to invest a lot of money that way, so I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. And that's what I did. I said 3 of those, and this is just, again, you can take anything you want. I did that. So if one of those golfers comes through for me, now I'm a huge SVG fan. I'm still going to, of course, root for my top pick, Ty Gibbs. So I figure I'm okay either way in that sense. If Ty Gibbs wins, I'm great. But if SVG goes out there and dominates, well, hey, now I've got the PGA Tour golfer winning at SVG. Now I'm all set for Tommy Fleetwood. And do you know how much I would be set for Tommy Fleetwood on a $1 to $2 bet with the odds that I've just told you. By the way, Tommy's 20-1 to win the Open Championship. Okay. They range from $1,000 to $1,500. And that's with SVG being part of this at almost even money. So this is the way, and I did this, I've done this before several times. I should say I've been in this situation to make money several times. I've done this quite a bit. And I figure these are the best ways that I'm going to try to take advantage of short money prices on in situations that I do feel, you know what, if I'm going to sit there and watch another Mexico, I better have at least something on it. So let's take a look at the rest of the field again. Who can possibly knock off SVG? And look, remember, he did not dominate these two races. Even the one he won, he didn't dominate. Last year, of course, he had the issue. So I think we even said it the other day. The last two winners, the only two winners of the street race that basically led, I believe it is the last 8 laps. And that's it. You could say stolen, but they've won. They've hung around. And then last 8 laps, they've won the race, Bowman and SVG. So neither one of them dominated the race. So let's say SVG does not dominate this race. Well, who else out there could give him a run for his money? And we really believe strongly in Michael McDowell. We said this the other day. This is a really strong pick. We hope you took him when we told you to take him, because he was 22-1 on Tuesday. He's not going to be 22-1 now. So I hope you grabbed him on Tuesday. And the reason why McDowell is now in great shape here, starting second, is because he's been into two races here. He's finished 7th and 5th. And he has an 11th and a 5th this year on the road courses. And he has a road course win. So this is a perfect setup now for Michael McDowell that he starts second. And here we have some more. I think Carson Hocevar, Tyler Reddick, and Kyle Busch are also really good plays. Hocevar, because you just don't know what to expect from the kid. Look, he was 40-1 the other day. He's not going to be 40-1 now. But I think you should still be able to get a decent number on him, hopefully. The problem is there are several drivers that were going to get money that may not, that'll open the door for long shots and their numbers to drop a little. So we're going to talk a little bit about that here in a second. But I think Hocevar is, of course, a wild card. Reddick looks really strong again. He's not in a groove. We know that. He's still going through a little bit of a slump. And that is the one thing that to be worried about. He was 12-1. I don't know if those odds will drop much. I think you should still be able to hopefully get 10-1. Then again, I wouldn't be surprised if it dropped to 8-1. He was second here last year. He was charging hard, but could not pass Bowman for the win. Briscoe, look, he's just becoming a qualifying machine, sort of like McDowell and sort of like Hocevar. So it is a little tricky when you're going with Hocevar and McDowell to know whether or not it's a good race to wager on these guys, because this is typical for them. And now it's getting that way for Briscoe. But the difference here is, as far as McDowell is concerned, is we already had a lot of numbers we liked. There was a reason we liked him even before qualifying. And so now we even like him better. And Kyle Busch, yes, absolutely. He was getting 28-1. So Kyle was my second choice. McDowell, I don't know if it was, I think it was just third choice for CJ. So we both have them. But Kyle was my second choice based on the fact that we all know he almost won COTA. We also, if you take a look at it, 9th and 5th in both Chicago races. And he started 18th and 19th in those races. Here, he's starting 6th. Problem is, it's Kyle Busch, and you're not getting 28-1 now. You still should get double digits. Hopefully, you'll still be able to get around 15-1, 16-1, but you never know because it's Kyle Busch. And here are the rest of the drivers. Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed that Ty was not a little bit higher up. I did expect him I really thought he was going to be top 4, top couple of rows. But it's still okay. It's fine. Not a big deal. Buscher's also not a surprise. Buscher was also a long shot to consider at 22-1 the other day. If you look at it in his last 4 races coming in here, all top 10s, including 2 top 5s and a runner-up. And in the road courses this year, both top 10s. So Buscher was a solid play, and actually probably is right now the best Ford option. All right, now let's run through the rest of the field because we still have a lot to talk about here. Defending champ is 11th. Logano, who was ridiculously at 90-1 the other day, you're going to lose half of that. I'm telling you right now, he's probably 40-1 now. I still think that's a good number for Joey Logano here on the road course. He's not my top option, but he's a long shot. He's a legit long shot. There you see Bell and Larson, Blaney in his usual spot. Chastain, I don't see anything in Chastain this week. Cindric, disappointing. And here are the really, really crazy ones down at the bottom. And you know why? Now Hamlin, let's just talk about Hamlin first. So Hamlin, basically, before he even gets an opportunity to start practice, the car, he goes out there and it's dead. So he's getting a dead car, done, can't practice, can't qualify. Forget it. Denny Hamlin is not winning the race tomorrow. Elliott, Byron, and Wallace, though, they have legitimate possibilities because check this out. Wallace, Byron, Elliott. Have you seen such crazy stuff? They all ended up. Now, Wallace had the problem in qualifying, or he spun out basically. But Byron and Elliott had their problems during practice, but they had already, registered their speeds. Then they got into a little bit of a problem, and now they were forced to sit out qualifying and have to start way in the back. And this is a road course. But look, this is Hendrick Motorsports. These are smart people, and they're going to try to figure out a way to steal the race some way. They know that they have fast cars. And here's the interesting thing, too, is that, Bowman was okay. Bowman was same in practice and qualifying. But Larson was disappointing. You would have thought that, usually he's like right up there, of course, with maybe the fastest of the bunch. And he ends up the slowest of the bunch. Very disappointing. So who knows? Maybe Larson can get and find out what Byron and Elliott did. And that'll juice things up and give him a better shot. But yeah, this is really going to be interesting to see if Bubba, Chase, or Elliott can do something, because they're going to have to do it from way, way back. Now there's Ty Gibbs. So I'm happy that, again, he was top 10, ended up with a 4th place run in practice. So that's why I'm fine with Ty Gibbs. Don't forget, he led 17 laps in this race last year, finishing 9th and 3rd in his 2 Chicago stints. 12-1 with the odds. You know what? I don't think that's going to probably drop much. I think the only reason it drops is just because maybe there are some people out there that might have just slept on the fact of why was he 12-1. I'm surprised he was 12-1. I thought he should have started off at 8-1. There's McDowell, very solid 5th after the 2nd place qualifying run. Same thing with Hocevar. Now, this is a little bit surprising to see SVG down at 7th, maybe a little bit. Keeping in mind that SVG, when he won the race in 2023, in that one, he had the fastest car in practice. And it was also the top Chevy in qualifying when he started 3rd. So we'll find out whether or not, I don't think it's going to matter. He's going to be up front. He's going to take the lead in the beginning of the race. He's going to have clean air, and that's going to make up for a 7th place practice run. Buscher, another top 10 run. Reddick, another top 10 run. Bowman, same thing in practice as he did in qualifying. There's Larson. Again, Larson, 15th when he was 14th qualifying. A little bit slow there. Remember, he was 6-1. He was the second choice. Now, we didn't like Larson at 6-1 because we did like other options, keeping in mind why he has not been good on the road courses this year. And then he gets off to this start. This is not a good week to take Kyle Larson. I got to tell you right now, I don't think that those 6-1 odds are going to change a whole lot because it's Kyle Larson. Maybe they drop a little bit, 8-1. I don't know. But he was on the pole last year in this race, didn't lead a lap, and then crashed in that race, and then didn't lead a lap in 2023. And he finished fourth in that race. So you would expect he's going to have a top 10 run. I just can't see nothing so far in road courses this year. Again, it's a street race, different, but you get the gist. And then nothing here. No laps led. I can't go with Kyle Larson at a low number, not the way that he looked today. Bell, that was disappointing. Nothing in the top 10. He led 14 laps before the crash last year and 37 laps before finishing 18th in 2023. He did start in the top 10 in both of those races, so he was in better shape in those races when he did lead those laps. And we know that he's really done a good job this year of stealing the win and the runner-up. So we know he's got that type of ability. And I just think that the odds are still, look, the odds are going to stay that, what were they? 7-1. Too low for me. Same like Larson, just too low. At least Bell looked a lot better than Kyle Larson this year on these courses. No question. If you're asking me which way I'm going, I'm definitely going Christopher Bell over Kyle Larson. And then you have, Chastain. I don't see Chastain. I'm not feeling it with him. Not here. Kyle, disappointing 25th, but he made up for it in the qualifying session. So I am a little bit concerned about the practice run, but it's Kyle Busch. So, and I was getting a big number anyway. And now, look, if you haven't taken him yet, I wouldn't worry about it because you're going to get a good number. There's Briscoe with a very disappointing practice speed after the qualifying run. Cindric again, slow. Logano, a very disappointing practice run, made up for it in qualifying. And there you go with the rest. And of course, Denny Hamlin and how that worked out for him, which wasn't really good at all. Okay, now, how do we break this down? What's the best way of doing this? So let's go over the drivers who we really like and why. If the obvious is SVG, I still think, look, you still have time to go out there because that, again, I'm not saying for golf because not many of you, the viewers here are PGA Tour fans. But in case you are, if you're just people who like to gamble, you like to want to know what's going on here, take a look at that. Or take a look at something else that you might want to look at as a third option. Could be anything. Could be a baseball game. But take a look at that. SVG, a second option, and then go for the big one. And the big one, by the way, doesn't have to be the Open Championship either in 2 weeks. It could be anything. It could be week 1 of the NFL, week 1 of the college football season. There are some big games. You got number 1 against number 2, most likely. I think that's what you're going to see in Ohio State, Texas. Notre Dame against Miami. You got some nice matchups to look ahead at for in football. You could even take a look if they'll allow it, because sometimes they won't because it's the same sport, but they might let you go with the Cup champ as the third option. Take a look at futures, something like that. That could happen. So take a look at some potential parlays, which I would feel a lot more comfortable than any driver in NASCAR in any situation. And I don't care if it's Kyle Larson. I don't care who it is, where it is, any driver whose odds are below 3-1. You are really risking a lot. Okay, so who are the top options if you're not going to go with SVG? It's got to be Chevy drivers, right? Top 3 in qualifying, 5 of the top 7 in practice. Now, Toyota was second best, 2 of the top 5 in qualifying, 2 of the top 4 in practice, including Bubba Wallace, the fastest. Ford, definitely the slowest. Just 2 of 8 in qualifying and nobody in the top 7 in practice. So taking a look at these Fords, I'm staying away from the Fords. The only thing I'm doing with the Fords are a couple of long shots. Again, I would look at Buescher for sure as my top Ford. Logano, because you're going to get a big number, and it's Joey Logano. And if you want to do the same thing because you're getting a big number on someone like Ryan Blaney. Other than that, that's a category of just long shots. But Buescher, I would put Blaney and Logano in long shot territory. Just, hey, if you want to throw a couple long shots in there. But Buscher I'd put in there as a logical, nice, good number. I'm getting a 4 driver, but I'm not going crazy for him. I'm just saying, you know what? He's already done it this year. He has also been really hot lately. So why not? Maybe look, nobody really looked at Bowman as a winner last year. So maybe Buscher can do what Bowman did last year. I think it's very possible. So yes, I would invest some in Buscher as the top Ford. As far as Toyota, absolutely Reddick and absolutely Gibbs. All right. Bell, again, at the odds are just too low for me. And I don't see anybody else. So I would go Gibbs and Reddick. Absolutely. Now, Reddick was 12-1, as was Gibbs. I still like Gibbs better than Reddick after today. But a lot's going to depend on what the odds are going to be. And I would guess that Reddick is going to be the one where the odds are going to drop more. And remember, I was saying before, because some of those top drivers, the odds might go back now. And some of those drivers being Byron and Hamlin. Excuse me, Byron and Elliott. So maybe their odds, even though Elliott was surprisingly 14-1, so his numbers will probably stay that way. But Byron, who was 12-1, maybe his odds come down a little bit. Again, we weren't the favorites. Maybe Larson will. Maybe Larson from 6-1 comes down. I mean, Bell didn't have a top 10 run. Maybe his odds do come down a little bit. So it is possible that Reddick will be the top driver to take advantage, that maybe he could squeeze into the top 2 or 3. If that happens, okay, then what I'm just saying is I still like Gibbs, because I think Gibbs will be behind Reddick in the odds, and I still like him anyway. Reddick, I just would rather see a little momentum from Reddick before taking him. But definitely, if you're still getting 10 or 12-1 on Reddick, I say absolutely he's a good play. And then the rest are just Chevy drivers. SVG, McDowell, excuse me, not besides SVG, McDowell, 100%. He was like the best bargain of them all. And now it definitely is. If you can get a good number of McDowell, you're going to get 12-1, 15-1, 15-1, 18-1. Just jump all that. I still think Hoyer should be a good. You're probably going to lose 40-1, 20-1. It's going to be cut in half, but this is why we've been saying this for a couple of months now. If you want to take Carson Hocevar, do it before qualifying. Okay. And this is a reason why. And then I think that's it. Again, Bowman, another Chevy. Absolutely. Why not? He's gotten into a good groove again. He's the best Hendrick driver. He's sitting there at a very respectable 22-1 that I don't think will change much. So, and that would probably be it with the Chevys too. So I would go McDowell, Hocevar, Kyle Busch, who I already took. But yes, McDowell, Hocevar, Kyle Busch, and Bowman. Those are the Chevys that I would jump on. Every one of those Chevys are not getting low numbers. Okay. Tuesday, you were getting 22-1, 40-1, 28-1, and 22-1 on those Chevys, which means you're still going to get good odds on them. That's why I think that's the way to go. Buscher at 22-1 is the way to go. And again, Gibbs over Reddick, but next to each other, both of them with Gibbs 1, Reddick 2. That's also the way that I would go. All right. And then hopefully, if we can get lucky, unless you're an SVG fan, of course, and you're rooting for SVG, and that's all you do, then that's different. But look, hey, as you can see, I'm a Ryan Blaney fan, but I know when it's time to try to make some money elsewhere, even when Ryan Blaney's favored to win a race, or I think he's going to win a race, and I'm confident in Ryan Blaney, I still have money on other drivers. So obviously, if Ryan Blaney was entering a race at even money to win, honestly, I'm probably not putting money on my own driver. Why would I do that? I'm already rooting for him anyway. I'm not going to make a lot of money on him. So I would just do what I'm doing now anyway. So yeah, this is how you can try to make money, and hopefully we'll get another driver, nice little long shot driver, one of the drivers we suggested to get it done here at the Grant Park 165. As far as any race historical notes over 2 years, there really isn't any. Yes, Chevy's won 2 years, so that's important. and top 3 in qualifying, best in so they're the manufacturer to beat right now going into the race, even not just SVG. So that's the way to go at this point. Chevy has got the momentum, winning the first 2 races here, and then of course top 3 in qualifying, and that's why I think Chevy is definitely the way to go. And I gave you those drivers. Keep in mind that the 2 starting positions from the winners in the 2 races were 8th and 3rd, and the 2 practice runs were 5th and 1st. So if you go by that metric, that means that if you're just going to go by drivers who had runs in the top 10 in both sessions, then you're going with SVG, McDowell, Hocevar, Reddick, Buescher, and Gibbs. And that is going to do it. Next week is going to be Sonoma. And so we're going to, the only reason that I'm okay with the back-to-back road courses is I don't have to worry about doing too much homework because I kind of already done a lot of it. So it's not going to be real hard for me to prepare for our Tuesday show. And don't forget, it's a live show. So that gives you the opportunity to interact with us. If you have any questions, any comments, it's 4:00 normally on Tuesdays. So again, great time to let us know what's on your mind, and we could talk about it while we're on the air live. I do not believe there are any races in F1 this week, so it'll just be NASCAR at Sonoma that we're going to talk about. We'll wrap up the race as well here, and let's hope that even if it sprinkles a little bit, hopefully it won't be a downpour, and we won't have any major delays, and we'll be able to get this race off on time. I know they're starting a little bit earlier. I do like that. It seems like they have adjusted some of the summer races on Sunday a little bit, which is okay. I like that. They've starting an hour earlier. Hey, we'll take anything we can get. I still prefer 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock, but hey, we get 2 o'clock better than 3. I'm all for that. So hopefully that'll work out in our favor. That'll wrap it up. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Subscribing to the channel is the whole reason why, if you're interested in these types of videos, why we can keep doing the videos. It's the best way to support us. Yes, we're going to have Patreons coming up this season. We already have one all set up. Most of it's for football at this point. We also have a YouTube membership set up for our horse racing only at this point. But subscribing, that is the best way to support the channel. So if you like what we do, please subscribe. That helps us. That's the reason why we can keep doing what we're doing and providing you as much information as we can to get you ready to fill out your fantasy lineups, as well as wager a little bit of money and try to make some this week and every week in the NASCAR Cup Series. F1, I don't think that's really possible. But hey, man, if you were with us last year, right around this time, we were telling you, we were practically begging you to wager on Max Verstappen to win the championship when his odds were as low as they were, when it was impossible almost for him to lose the championship. We had about a good 2 or 3 week stretch there when his numbers to win a championship were so low. And what I mean by that is because they were like at minus 600 or minus 700, 800 at one point, and they had gotten down to like minus 150 or minus 200 or something, which was just incredible. Might have even been less than that. And we were just telling you, you have to do it. You have to do it. And so maybe we can get to that point again in F1, but I just wonder if that's the only way, the only real way to try to make some money in F1 is to try to make it that way. That's a very tough sport to make money on, but NASCAR isn't. We can do that here, and hopefully we'll do that tomorrow as long as SVG doesn't win. So that'll wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time right here on ProLine TV.